Hi, welcome to the Power of SelfEVOlution. Karen Lovely here, creator and host. This morning, I am so honored to have one of my very special clients with me to give her before and after, and how really understanding the inner workings of the mind, unconsciously, subconsciously, and consciously, has absolutely unequivocally transformed her life and still going. So many things I say, wow, there are already amazing things about her, but this just catapulted a transformation of unrecognizability where it's uh, still, she's a very high achieving doer, but there's something so new about her beingness and her energy and her ability to really be present and just see all of the beauty around her that she's really never experienced before. And the big reason why this is because my methodologies and techniques solely focus around getting to the blind spots, the things we cannot see that are buried deep, deep, deep into the inner workings of the unconscious mind that get in the way, that block us, that stop us, that cause us to stay in this cycle of self-sabotage that we don't even really know we're in. And we just think we're doing different things and it's changing, all the while it's really not changing at all. So when we can really dig deep and see what's getting in the way back in childhood and teenagehood, this clears up everything. We are brand new. We get do-overs in life in every area, and it just causes us to experience more fulfillment, meaningfulness, and a sense of true happiness from the inside out. That said, good morning and welcome, Christina, to the Power of Self-Evolution. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, doing great now that you're here and we're podcasting. No, doing really well. Thank you. All right, let's get started. First, I'd like for you to share how you started in coaching and what you've done before. Give us the before snapshot of what was going on before you started working with me.
So, um, throughout like college and my early to late 20s, I got married, had 2 kids, um, was very anxious in hindsight. Now that I look at it, just kind of like an anxious person, a little bit on edge. Um, I did like school and I did like working, so I did a good job at those 2 things, but always worried, very, very much a worrier. Um, as I got to almost the end of my 20s, my first marriage was not working, not good communication, um, ended up separating and getting a divorce. And in that time, I started therapy, just because I knew like this isn't working. Like being
Mm-hmm.
worried all the time, not communicating, like this isn't working. My sister sent me a book called Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart. And um, I started reading that book probably multiple times. And so that was kind of like my moment of kind of realizing like, okay, there's got to be more to life. Like this isn't right. But that was just, I knew that I needed to do something, and that was my starting point.
Okay, so it looked like on the outside things were going okay. Yes,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
Graduated college at 22, had a little starter home, had 2 kids, had a good job. Um,
Yeah.
Not a good not a good relationship, but
Mhm.
on the outside, uh,
You were
textbook
handling
wise, it
things.
looked fine. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
in
were.
survival mode, just didn't realize it.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so let's talk about this. What would you say the biggest reason for the divorce? What would you say that was in hindsight?
Um, in hindsight, probably the inability to communicate.
Mhm.
Um, just very different people got married young, had kids young, and just probably weren't a good match. And then on top of that, add communication or really pretty much no communication. Um, we were just not in alignment. Um,
Okay, but let's think about this looking backwards.
mhm,
I don't wanna make a general broad statement, but
mhm.
was he a communicator from the dating stage? Like, really? If you think back now.
No.
Okay. No more
No.
questions. Yeah, right? You see this?
Yeah. Right. Just not a good match.
Yeah, but you weren't
And
talking
right,
deeply.
weren't talking,
Uh-huh.
and at the time, I had no idea about my childhood wounds, but it was just, um,
A
more
nightmare.
so yeah, yeah, more
Mhm.
so like my childhood wounds showing up in adulthood. I just didn't know about those things then. So, but I can see it clearly now.
Yes. Okay, so irreconcilable differences, check the box on the
Yes,
divorce forms, yes? On the
correct.
paperwork for divorce, and that's what we're coming
Mhm,
down to. And so what's
mhm.
interesting is there wasn't communication beforehand, and then it got worse over time, didn't it?
Yes, and I
Mhm.
think the, like, just point where we knew, however you want to frame it, that it wasn't going to get better
Mhm.
was that I was willing to go to therapy and
Mhm.
try to figure things out, and he was not. And
Mm.
so even without, like, all the work that you and I have done, even without that, there was just a moment where it's like, this isn't gonna work if only one side is looking to figure it out and the other side is not. So that was kind of the like,
The light bulb moment.
yeah, like,
Mhm.
well, we're at a crossroad and it looks like we're going in different directions.
Yeah. Now, I just want to interject there because you bring up a really important point is without the deeper communication, and you're absolutely right. It's a guarantee that it's not going to work if you're working and you're in therapy and he's not willing to go. That's a guarantee. But it also more
Mhm.
guaranteed is if we don't dig deep and stay out of our own way and really deeply communicate with
Mhm.
not just significant other, everyone and everything, including animals, right?
Mhm.
It's not going to work
Right.
to the degree in
Right.
which we want and desire most. Like it is impossible. So I just want to say without communication, there is no energy of love. And it's not just talk yappity yap about superficiality. It's talking deeply, feelings, emotions, and hearing each other, right? Seeing each other, listening to each other. You don't have to agree, but you just have to feel like you have each other's back in terms of, oh, I understand and relate. See, this is the
Right.
big, big point I'm making here. It's not just
Mhm.
yappity yap. It's really understanding self first so that we can understand the other, so we can have the more meaningful, deeper, heartfelt conversations. Otherwise, we're
Right.
going through the motions and we'll stay married till the
Mhm.
end, but they're roommates at this point. Separate bedrooms, that's a big thing now, especially today,
Mhm.
right? And we're
Mhm.
two ships passing in the night and we're roommates and we're husband and wife, but are we really intimately connected? And I'm sorry, the answer is going to be a big fat no in general. Yes?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And like the good news is like now that I've done so much work with you, I can look back on that and I can take accountability and say, well, I didn't know who I was. So
Mhm.
I certainly wasn't helping the communication. Um, but it all worked out just like it was supposed to. I got 2 beautiful kids from it, and lots of
Yeah.
things were learned. So
I don't believe in accidents. Absolutely.
right.
It was inevitable that it would happen. That's all based on the unconscious neuronal patterning that's already in
Mhm.
play. That's another whole story. But it was meant to happen, yes.
Mhm.
And you were a person who was open to help. You're a seeker. So let's talk about the
Mhm.
therapy.
Mhm.
Um, I'm all about therapy because I was in
Mhm.
and out of therapy my whole life, even as a
Mhm.
kid. I want therapy. I'm 9 years old with my little fist.
Mhm.
I want therapy. And therapy was wonderful. However, it didn't get me the solutions and answers that this stuff does. I'm
Mhm.
just curious as to, not to poo poo therapy, but the difference between the therapy that you've had from your experience and
Mhm.
this type of work. Do you have any
Yes.
thoughts? Yeah.
Well, the first therapist that I went to, I think she was really great for what I needed as a first step. Like, she pretty much just listened to me,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I had I had never even had someone just listen to me like that, and
Right.
so, um I was very grateful for her to have someone to go listen to me, but I sort of felt like that was kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, the next therapy that I had is when I put my kids in therapy, after going through a divorce, and I will say I almost feel like that was a progression because the next therapist, um, I feel like he had a little more neuroscience background. He was very spiritual. Um, so I do feel like he um was a step up from the first one. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
listen and let me help you with skills. Um, and then I was connected through to you through who is now my current husband, and that's where I feel like we've really started to apply, um, I don't know if you would call them like, I apply the learning, like, we're in application stage now. We're not just talking about concepts and theories, we're applying concepts and theories. We're moving up Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah, I mean, you're in action. So this is
Yes.
breakthrough, breakthrough after
Mhm.
breakthrough after breakthrough. It's not like all in theory to
Mhm.
understand. There's one thing to
Mhm.
understand, which it sounds like that second therapist helped you understand more, but
Mhm.
that's not going to get us there. Not only do
Mhm.
we have to understand, we have to stay out of our own way, especially from a fear standpoint that mostly
Right.
we cannot see. And we don't even
Mhm.
think we're in fear. And yet we are
Mhm.
because we're inactive. We're not proactive, right?
Mhm.
Taking the risk to have the deeper conversations. And even
Mhm.
more risky, sharing those feelings. Yikes. The brain does not want us to do that. So, yeah, I have had the same experience. But again, I talk about this is all great. But after 5 years, I needed some more answers.
Mhm.
I needed
Mhm.
what I need to stay out of my own way so I could be proactive to be better to save my sister's life, or at least try, because I don't have the power to save her life. But I
Mhm.
need I need a better high potent structure here because it's not
Mhm.
going well. And it didn't,
Mhm.
right? Because we know what happened there. So,
Right.
okay, that's excellent. All right. So now let's get to the biggest breakthrough that you've had would be.
My relationship with my mother.
Yay! Bing, 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 bing,
Yes.
bing. You just won the giant panda. How's that at the carnival?
Yes,
I
that's
love
exciting.
this. Okay, so let me just set it up. All this work, we're healing inner child wounds that we can't see. We have to go find them first, search and destroy. And then we have to work out whether mom is dead or alive. We have to work out understanding self, understanding mom, and learning to communicate without getting triggered. And who would be our highest arch nemesis triggerer is mommy. and boom. So let me hear more. What was it before? Your relationship before with your mother?
It was very rough.
Mhm.
Teenage years, lots of fighting. I didn't feel like I could confide in her, always butting heads. Um, I felt like I had no support, like I didn't have an adult that I could lean on or talk to. Um, I I remember, like, I would always just be getting annoyed and agitated when she was talking to me, so there was lots of built up resentment, um,
Yes.
pretty
Okay.
much from, I would say, 14 till 32, 33, almost 20 years.
Yeah, and honestly, it goes longer and deeper than that.
Mhm,
I think it really started in utero, but that's another
mhm,
big topic.
mhm.
So what I'm hearing and what you're really saying is you didn't feel mentally, emotionally, spiritually supported. You weren't getting the
Correct.
emotional support, care, nurture. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, which I can relate to, right? That's
Mhm.
the same with my mother and many mothers because they're working so feverishly to survive, to make
Right.
sure the kids have food and clothing and housing. Yes. Um,
Mhm.
right. Let's not even, who has time for sit down conversations? But
Mhm.
that can never ever happen because it's a learned, trained skill. That could never ever happen unless they're training for it, and we don't fault them for that. But how
Right.
can they do something and be someone for you that they never learned
Mhm.
to be? Yes?
Mhm.
And so that lets them off the hook. My holistic practitioner, years ago said, "If it's not one thing, it's your mother." I'm like, "Oh my god, you know me so well. That's why you're the best." Yeah, and it
That's
is.
funny.
I know. And so, in her defense, she just didn't know what she didn't know. But it doesn't matter for a child who doesn't feel seen, heard, understood. Yes,
Right.
supported, and financially supported isn't going to cut it
Mhm.
because my parents were more than financially supportive, and it did not cut it. As a matter of fact, it made things worse in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
Right? If you don't have the materialism, it's really interesting is people with less financially actually have deeper relationships to one another because they can't
Mhm.
hide.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay. So that's what I'm hearing. And that's what was the biggest missing for you growing
Mhm.
up is having a mother who was absent from what you really wanted and needed growing up.
Mhm.
Yes. Okay.
Right, right.
Yes. And I'm
She
sure,
showed up
yeah.
in the ways that she knew how, but
Hmm.
that's not what my inner child needed.
Yes. Yes, exactly. And also, like for instance, my mom, she was very not only was she mentally, emotionally, spiritually absent, she didn't really have too much positivity. She didn't have a
Mhm.
lot of good things to say, no matter
Mhm.
how perfect I was and overachieving I was.
Mhm.
So can you relate to that? Like there wasn't a whole lot
Yes.
of acknowledgement and then there was mostly criticism if anything
Right.
came up.
Right.
Mhm. So that really hurts.
Mhm.
And again, they didn't know. It was their
Mhm.
inherent personality type and from their perspective, they were just trying to help us, but it does not help. It's counterintuitive. It hurts. It hurts a lot.
Right.
Okay, now cut to as you're going through coaching, what was going on as we're working through mother issues and wounds? Give us a little journey up to where you are now with her.
W Well, when you and I started working together, we would talk about current events that didn't involve my mom. But
Mhm.
then we would tie it back to, okay, well, what is this really about? And go down a rabbit hole and find that these reoccurring themes in my life stemmed from issues with my mom from childhood. And so as I started to recognize that more and more and more, it changed how I perceived things happening like currently. Um, but what it also did was help me start speaking up to my mom and holding my mom accountable. And
Mhm.
that came in waves. There was
Mhm.
lots of good and lots of bad. There was times of not speaking to one another for extended periods of time. And then probably a year and a half ago, we got over this big, like I would say, like a big hump where suddenly most, if not all of our interactions are positive.
Yeah, and that's no accident either. So something in you shifted.
Mhm.
Do you remember what that was or
I would say maybe holding her accountable, um trying to speak up powerfully, clearly, and
Mhm.
concisely. Um, I had to learn not to react so emotionally,
Mhm.
and react more objectively and like talk to myself consciously, like, hey, this is what's really going on. Setting boundaries, that was a big one, I feel like. Um,
Mhm.
so all of those things.
Okay, so I'll break it down. So interesting because we would talk about certain things going on in your current present life in our sessions.
Mhm.
And I'd always say, well, this is really about your mother
Yep.
or your father. So you were playing it out in your marriage with your kids, with
Uh-huh.
people. We all do. And I said, well, it's not really about him or her, right? Or the dog.
Mhm.
It's about your mom in your particular case predominantly and or your dad,
Right,
right?
right.
And that's when it started to really clear up. So you were learning how to spot the triggers and
Mhm.
then know how to deal with the triggers because the triggers cause the reactivity. And when we're in
Right.
reaction, all bets are off and nobody wins and communication ceases to exist.
Mhm.
And both parties are angry and in negative emotions. Yes?
Mhm.
So now you're
Yes.
learning to spot the triggers, know exactly what was going on. You were able to
Mhm.
override those triggers and help yourself not be reactive so that you could be proactive to set those
Right.
boundaries, to speak up, to express
Right.
your feelings. And that's what's made the difference. Yes?
Correct, correct.
Hmm. How exciting. So, do you have like an example at all of that occurring where you got triggered and
Um,
spoke
w
up?
one, comes to mind, so I've got 3 kids, trying to keep their schedule, trying to keep in-laws, parents, grandparents, everybody, aware of what the kids have going on, and, um, I remember one time I forgot to share a game time with her, um,
Mm,
and she sent me a very passive aggressive text, something that used to would start like this big, like, ping pong
uh-huh.
match, um, and I still get triggered, and yeah, I might have to stop myself and have a conscious conversation with myself, but before I responded, I made sure that I caught myself, um, but I just spoke up to her, um, and basically set the set the boundary that, "Hey, um, I never have any bad intentions. I don't mean to leave you out. Um, but when you speak to me like this, it makes me not want to be around you because it makes me feel bad about myself. I'm not
Mm.
trying to, I would never intentionally not include you in something. Um, and she did actually respond still with anger, and that's where I had to kind of say, hey, when you're ready to have a conversation, I'm open to the conversation, but I'm not going to argue and be mean and go back and forth with you. um
Mm.
and I feel like it sounds so silly because you're like, it's a kid's sporting event. Like, how does it turn into this big event? But I feel like that particular conversation was a big turning, maybe the turning point, because we didn't speak for a few days. But then when she was ready, I feel like we had a very open and genuine conversation, and I felt heard. Um, and I know she has her own wounds that she has to work through, but I think when she was calm and she was able to hear, like, I'm not trying to hurt you, that is almost like what she needed to hear to be able to move forward too.
Exactly. Okay. So you didn't talk for a few days. I remember this, but
Mhm.
did she end up reaching out to you or did you?
Yes,
Yeah.
she
Isn't that
reached out.
interesting? Right.
Mhm.
And when she did, do you remember how she reached out? Was she still in anger or resentment?
Um, she was hesitant, I would say, to reach out.
Hmm.
Because I feel like she was, um I say scared of being in trouble, but like, sometimes it's hard to face the music when you know that you've overreacted, or so I would say she was a little nervous to reach out, but since I know that, I made sure that when she did, that I responded with kindness and compassion, but still like holding my boundary.
Right. And again, I have to reiterate this is all learned, trained skill, and
Mhm.
you're executing beautifully. So she reached out. Did she apologize?
I think she did. I
Ah.
think she apologized.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I think she said she would work on it. Um,
Mhm.
and I think even like talking about it now, what was freeing for me is remembering that she has her own inner child. And so that was her own inner child coming out, um, to be vulnerable and apologize. So I think I was able to, because of our work, I'm able to look at how she interacts with me from a different perspective.
Yeah, it's a whole new perspective. So you brought up the question, how could something over a game time come into something so big? I have to address that.
Yeah.
It's because she got triggered into her rejection abandonment issues,
Mhm.
right? Which was not the intention at all. And this
Mhm.
is how we really mess ourselves up as humans. When people don't text us
Mhm.
back, when we don't hear from them, when we don't get a reply to an email, the brain goes haywire to think of all the negative reasons to make ourselves wrong. And that's exactly what happened to her. And it seems
Mhm.
so topical and superficial. Yes, over a game time.
Right. Right.
No, it's not at all. It's that if
Mhm.
that other human being is feeling really bad about themselves, no matter what we say,
Mhm.
even in the kindest way, can be misinterpreted, misconstrued as, oh, you're putting me down, you're leaving me out. And that's all of her childhood wounding. That's what levels the human playing field and sets us free to be able to
Mhm.
communicate as you're able to see, right? What was really going on for her instead of
Right.
you getting triggered into, see, you never see me, you never get me, you're always doing this, you're so passive aggressive.
Mhm.
That was the teenage Christina. Yes.
And I have a tendency to blame myself, to shame myself, so, like, not only would that be how I projected towards my mom, but then internally,
Yes. Y-
her, even though I know deep down I had no bad intentions, it would still start the, like, shame of, "Oh, how did you do that? How could you forget? How could you, um" do that, like, put me down on myself too, even though it's just a genuine mistake. So the training
Mm.
though has helped me see it from both sides and try not to make either side wrong.
Right, exactly, and you said the training, yes, has helped you and the practice of it, repeating, repeating,
Mhm.
repeating, but what's happening there is yet you started to then make yourself wrong, blame yourself, shame yourself, and then you thought it
Mhm.
was your fault. When
Right,
she's
right.
reacting, now you're down the tragic rabbit hole of, "Oh, no, it was my fault." Now you're feeling really bad. Yes?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
she fires back. Do you see how it's just
Right.
a mess? I obviously you do. I'm just explaining to the listeners, yeah, that this is the dynamic. It's never ever what meets the eye. It's always going to be
Mhm.
something deeper. And that's the clue. Teachable
Mhm.
moment here, Christina, is that when we're fighting so badly over something so trivial, you have to know it's something way deeper going on.
Mhm.
Do you understand this? Because
Right.
it's so ridiculous. Yes?
Mhm. Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's a perfect example when I get upset over the pigs, my potbelly pigs, right? I'm like, "Oh, bad girl posse." And I'm thinking, "Wait, what am I doing? What's really going on?" See, I catch it. Yeah? Why am
Mhm.
I so upset and angry and over the cutest potbelly pig in the world? No, it's because there's something inside of me that is getting triggered and
Right.
causing me to feel bad. Yes?
Mhm.
So it's wonderful that you
Mhm.
saw that and it turned everything around. Now, the big key here, because you've been so deathly afraid to speak up
Mhm.
for fear of what? To speak up would have made things
Um,
worse.
yeah, make
Yeah.
things worse,
Mhm.
lose the relationship, um, which is funny that like, at the time, like, I'm so angry,
Yeah.
but I still won't speak up because I don't wanna lose my mom. So it's a lot of webbing to work through.
Right. And another key point is that we're so afraid to speak up, we're going to ruin the relationship. All the while, in real time, the relationship is getting ruined more.
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes,
Because
because in
now, yes.
hindsight, speaking
Hmm.
up, now I enjoy being around my mom.
Well, that was the remedy, is holding her
Mhm.
accountable and saying, hey, this isn't going to work for our relationship. Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's
For sure.
exactly right. And that was a risk that took, right? A lot of training to get to this point. It's
Mhm.
simple, but not easy. I mean, look at all the time we spent together for you finally to say, hey, you know, this, I didn't have that intention to ever hurt you. Right. But if you keep doing this, I'm not, I'm
Mhm.
not going to participate. I'm not going to be in this relationship of
Mhm.
dysfunction. That you didn't
Mhm.
say those words, but that's what you're really saying.
Right, right.
And when she heard it, that's what has her. And that's everybody, not just her.
Mhm.
See, people don't know till you disrupt the patterns, and that's what speaking up does. The accountability does. It broke the pattern and woke her up to go, oh my gosh, I have to look at this or I'm going to lose the best thing that ever happened to me. That is you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do you understand?
Yes.
She'd be the fool. I'm sorry. I'll say it. I'll say it to her face to lose you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yes? You agree with me
Yes.
now? Yeah.
Yes.
Where before you
Well,
didn't
and
quite
as
understand that. Yeah. Mhm.
correct, and
Mhm.
I obviously am a mom, and
Mhm.
so I get it from I wouldn't wanna lose my relationship with my kids, so
Exactly. Exactly. So let's move to that. Let's talk
Mhm.
about how then this has exponentially, right, changed things with the older girls.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so share with us what's been happening there and how this has, right, changed things for you. Transformed the relationship.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I feel like I have a better understanding of what's going on in my own brain versus and my kid's brain, um, So I can be a lot more conscious in how I speak to them, and
Mhm.
how I speak to myself. um, for example, my teenager triggered me just the other day, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna respond like a conscious human being. I'm going to speak the truth, because that is the remedy to creating this great relationship with her. And I'm giggling internally because my amygdala was so triggered that I was
Mhm.
like, I can't even think of anything rational to say
Mhm.
right now. And so I was by myself. So we
Uh-huh.
we weren't we weren't arguing, but I was by myself. So I started having this internal conversation, and I wasn't calling it fear because the emotion that I was feeling was angry, but I was like, hey amygdala, um I really want to respond with my prefrontal cortex, but I'm having a really, really hard time forming thoughts right now. So I just wanted you to know, like we're alive, we're breathing with the pulse, we're safe. Like you can relax, but I need you to let the prefrontal cortex take control, because I'm really trying
Mm.
hard not to respond uh,
Mhm.
with anger or reactivity. um, and it was funny because this like inner dialogue, I was doing yoga as I'm having this inner dialogue, and
Mhm.
finally when I left I was like, okay, I've switched over enough that I'm ready to approach this conversation and take accountability on my end, but also hold my teenager accountable too. But it was quite funny because I couldn't think because I was triggered, but I knew the formula I needed to follow to try to work on getting to respond with more conscious effort.
Yeah, okay, that's brilliant. That's exactly how
Mhm.
this works, is you saw everything I've been teaching you and you applied it.
Mhm.
I mean, boom, boom, boom. And that's how this works. Is you're exactly right. There was no way you could be functionally powerful when you were in extreme emotion,
Mhm.
right? Fight,
Mhm.
freeze. And whenever we're dealing with that fear, it cuts off all the signals to the frontal lobe
Right.
where you need that rationality, the logic. And there was none.
Yep.
What I love
There's
is
there's
even surreal.
crickets,
Yeah,
crickets.
crickets. But you knew there were crickets. You actually are experiencing that surreal, uh, 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 uh,
Mhm.
right,
Mhm.
experience. I know it
Mhm.
all too well. It's like
Mhm.
out of body. That makes
Mhm.
sense? Yes. I love hearing that. Is that you knew exactly what was going on, then you knew the remedy.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Calm
Time out.
down. Yep.
Yes.
Let's diffuse the fear. What's really going on? Let the signals
Mhm.
start lighting back up to the part of the
Mhm.
brain that you need to be able to
Mhm.
have a loving, compassionate, empathetic, accountable conversation. Yes.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
then that's what happened. So,
Mhm.
but let's go with the before snapshot
Mhm.
with the kids, the teenagers. Well, there weren't
Mhm.
teenagers when you started, but they were pretty close.
Yeah, they
What?
were, well, I guess we a
Mm,
pre maybe like a preteen and
yeah,
then still a kid, but now we have a teen and a preteen, so we've shifted, they've grown, but,
yeah. But before, the dynamic that occurred is pretty similar, isn't it, to your mom?
yes, yes,
Yep.
I feel like when I was growing up, my mom was very reactive, very angry, quick tempered.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, well, I don't want to be like that. So I tried to do the opposite, but that created someone not really having any boundaries or holding the kids accountable. So very similar to how like my mom dynamic was as an adult.
Exactly. So this is really important to highlight
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
is that you did not wanna be reactive like your mother when you were
Mhm.
growing up, so you became extremely passive
Mhm.
and overly pleasing,
Mhm.
and guess what? Those girls were running all over you. Uh-huh,
Yes, yes,
right?
yes.
You got your mother all
Mhm.
over again. They were. They
Right,
were
they
harsh.
kinda turned into my
They
mom,
did,
yeah.
and that's what happens. They were
Mhm.
running you.
Mhm.
Yes?
Yes.
Mhm. Do you have an experience that you can remember that
Um,
highlights this?
Let me think. Feel free if you have a good
Well,
one to
you know,
spark my
when
memory.
yeah, instead of you speaking up because you were so afraid to not have a relationship with your girls,
Uh-huh.
they were very reactive
Mhm.
and they were disrespecting you.
Yes, and I
Uh-huh.
I talking about it, I think what always upset me the most was, and this is wonderful, they were hardworking at school, they were respectful, they were these little model citizens outside of the
Outside the world,
home.
yes, but not
Yes, like,
yes.
but then when they came home, it was like, "Wait, what?"
They were taking
So,
all their frustrations out on you,
yes. Yes.
which made you feel
Very unloved,
exactly.
and like, "Oh my gosh, am I doing a bad job? Am I a bad
Mhm.
mom?" Like, it sends you down this questioning
Exactly.
yourself and your self-worth too, like, "Oh man, like, I must not be very good at this."
Yeah, you're doubting yourself
Right.
only right? But in actuality, only really caring about being the best person, the best mom you could be.
Mhm.
Ironically, now you're feeling like the worst mother, only
Mhm.
because you were a people pleaser and
Right.
you're letting them get away with treating you poorly,
Mhm.
right? And
Mhm.
disrespecting you.
Right.
Mhm.
Which, again, speaking up is an acquired skill that I didn't have.
Mhm.
So,
Exactly. So you're applying
I
the
might
same
have had
thing.
it to
Mhm.
some extent, a little bit, like when I was in school, but did not have the skill to apply it to close relationships.
Exactly. Exactly. And then you have smart kids, so they'd actually
Mhm.
pull some of this stuff back out on you because
Mhm.
you allowed it all this time. Only
Right.
because you did not know what you did not know, and you didn't
Right.
have the courage nor the skill set to hold
Mhm.
them accountable as well. So it's the same template. That's the great
Mhm.
news, yes?
Mhm.
And so now how are the girls, um, you know, in general with you holding them accountable?
Well, of course, they're kids, so they don't like it, but
Well, too bad for them, huh?
yes.
Yeah.
But usually after they're held accountable, and then they have to go through their stuff, just like my brain was just triggered trying to have a conversation, they've gotta go through all of their amygdala hijacking, and they have to work through
Mhm.
their emotions, but once they get over that, I feel like they're usually grateful, and thankful and, sweeter, softer. It's just a process for them as well.
It's
Um,
identical though, Christina. They're more
mhm.
appreciative and they're not
Right,
taking you for granted, taking
right.
advantage of you, and they're showing
Mhm.
back up because you just broke the cycle
Right,
that you've
right.
allowed for so long.
Mhm.
Yes? So this
Correct.
is tremendous. So it's one-stop shop. Isn't this nice?
Mhm.
Is that you get to speak up, be heard. They might not like
Mhm.
it, so we don't have to disagree. We can be
Mhm.
in disagreement, but all of a sudden we start to go, "Wait a minute. I can't afford to lose you, mom. You're
Mhm.
too wonderful."
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
and
Mhm.
so, bless the older 2, they're the guinea pigs. But, they're amazing and, they're doing a good job with it too, and I'm so grateful that they're learning it much younger than I did.
Exactly, because 'cause you're transferring what you're learning out onto
Mhm.
them.
Mhm.
Right, same with your husband. Okay, let's speak
Mhm.
about your husband. How has
Mhm.
this affected your relationship with him? the same model. Truthful
Um,
speaking up,
it's
boundaries.
it's been really amazing. Um, but I think what's even more amazing about it is that we both like train with you. So uh
Mm.
the kids, we are teaching them, but it's kind of nice because both of us are being taught it and then we can come together and apply it. So,
Mhm.
and then our, then the littlest, the baby, who we really haven't talked about, what's really cool for her is she's growing up with a mom and a dad that are teaching her this from the beginning, and two big sisters that are going to be learning it as well, who are, quite a bit older than her. So she's getting it from all kinds of angles.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Let's talk about the baby. Wow. Okay, so we just to recap, you're married once, had 2 kids
Mhm.
with that, former husband, now remarried. Both of you are my clients, and it
Mhm.
was, uh, Cody who introduced you, and the thing is I wanna talk about this part, though.
Okay.
He introduced you to the work. What had you accept and want to do it? Because I often have this as a problem where my clients want their spouses and family involved, but they're not interested. Why did you choose to, you know, say, okay, yes, I'm in?
I'm like, I find that interesting that like a lot of people like are not
Yeah.
always open to it,
Mm-hmm.
but we've kind of talked about this before. Like, I think maybe my personality has always kind of been a seeker.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because, like I said, when I got married and divorced from my first marriage, like immediately I went to therapy because I was looking for like, hey, there's got to be more to this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think at first when I met Cody, he was already in coaching.
Yes.
And I think I was just a little like, I wouldn't say like, I think I was just a little cautious, like, okay, what is this? What is he doing? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I was open-minded, but I was just like, okay, like let me just kind of observe what he's doing. And so he would share little pieces of it here and there. Um, and so I was intrigued by it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so when he requested that I train as well, um, I don't even really feel like there was any pushback because I was just like, why not? Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that because I'm thinking, oh my God, I'd be so happy if I
Yeah.
had somebody who was like, "Well, I'm doing this amazing training and it's going to help our
Hmm.
relationship." Like
Hmm.
who wouldn't do that? But
Right.
again, more people don't do it,
I
which
know,
is so
that's so
sad.
interesting.
I know.
Hmm.
It's very sad.
Maybe just they feel scared is the only thing I could think of.
Well, yes, it's going to be fear.
Mhm.
But if a human being isn't really open to self-development or
Mhm.
they're not a seeker, it's
Mhm.
harder, but it doesn't matter. Here you
Mhm.
are, and I think it's absolutely well, it's refreshing because, like I said,
Mhm.
numerous clients they wished they wanted it, but it didn't happen.
Mhm.
Um, and you and Cody are reaping the benefits like beyond belief.
Right.
This
Yeah.
was, and a shout out to him because he has made this such a huge part of his life, which I call it second to breathing, but it's a huge part of my own personal life, without
Yeah.
it. So we want to say, if we could look back, we already knew you failed in the first marriage because of the lack of communication,
Mhm.
because of that
Mhm.
experience too. That experience of that loss fed into you going, oh no, I'm not going to do that again. Yeah.
Right, right,
Hmm.
for sure. And
Yeah.
just, kind of being like, I guess just like in search for of like, well, how do I become better, stronger, more courageous, brave person?
Hmm.
Um, and so I do appreciate that Cody has put this as a very high priority in our marriage, because we're talking about how, like, some spouses are hesitant to start with you, but also, like, what I see is just like a lot of people are scared to invest money into that because they're focused on surviving. And I understand, because we have to keep, a roof over our kids' head, and food, and shelter, and all of that. But just on like from another perspective, I'm just really glad that Cody has made this a higher priority,
Mm.
in our marriage, because we get to reap the benefits of it. But it is an investment, but I like that he invests in our self-development.
Yes, but I'm all about that. Me personally, I've invested
Mhm.
that hundreds of thousands of dollars. Worth it. Wouldn't have it any other way. And then otherwise, you get
Uh-huh.
what you get. I'm not going to judge anyone else. But
Right.
yes, it's an investment of everything: your heart, your
Mhm.
soul, your beingness, your money, your
Mhm.
time, your
Mhm.
energy, your inner
Mhm.
triggers and conflicts and fears. Like, that doesn't sound good. But right? But on the other
Mhm.
side is the miracles and the magic that you're living into, like, you're experiencing on a whole new, deeper, more
Mhm.
profound level. Like, it's so obvious. But I do, before we get into that, I want to, as you're speaking a lot, remember, the deal breaker is communication. Insurance
Mhm.
companies do studies on this. There'd be a lot less insurance claims if the two parties could just talk and work it out, even in the
Right,
court of
right.
law. I had a
Mhm.
judge in a small claims case say, "You two go work it out. Step outside my courtroom and work it out. Communicate," which we did
Mhm.
thanks to this work. And
Mhm.
if you can't work it out, then come see me. I mean, judges, insurance companies, it's the
Right.
communication. So even when you were dating, you
Mhm.
and Cody were having some serious communication breakdowns
Mhm.
that we weren't sure it was going to work.
Right. Right. Well, because we both had our own mommy issues. And
Yeah.
then you've got to work through your own mommy issues, and then
Mhm.
your significant other has their own mom and dad issues, and then they have to work through that, and then you have to, like, come together. And it's still a work in progress, but we have made leaps and bounds of progress.
Yeah, again, unrecognizable. Give me an example that you can think of that's, like, made a
Well,
world of difference. Yeah.
this is taking me back to just a little bit ago when you said, if you're arguing about something insignificant, then you know that it's really not about, the topical subject. And it makes me giggle, when we were having a disagreement about mushrooms and onions in the spaghetti or whatever it was.
Yeah, your pasta dish.
Yes, yes, and
It
how it all started with, like, a comment from Cody, um, and it was really about him and his childhood in hindsight, and just wanting to have a sense of control, and then my issue, was, like, going back to, feeling, like, resentful, um, in the moment, because here I'm trying to do something nice, and you're critiquing it, so I'm very sensitive to that. And um we were able to talk through it and understand that this has nothing to do with mushrooms and onions. We both just have some, our inner childs are screaming at the moment, and they both need to be attended to with love and compassion. And
Okay, yes,
go
sorry, go
ahead.
ahead. No, well, I wanna okay, so in short, you had you had gone out of your way to make this pasta dish, to have dinner
Uh-huh.
ready for when he comes home, and the first thing he does is say to
Mhm.
you, did you put mushrooms and onions in this? Yes?
Mhm.
And you
Yes.
got triggered to high heaven, didn't
Yes.
you?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, what happened with that trigger?
Um,
You were thinking,
well,
feeling, mhm.
um, it for me, what was triggered in me was like as a kid, I felt like I would be there minding my own business, um, not necessarily like, or just kind of like staying in my own lane, like
No, sorry.
doing.
I'm talking about with Cody. You got
Oh,
triggered in that moment
oh,
and you were pissed, right?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you're thinking to yourself, what?
Like, oh my gosh, he's so unappreciative, appreciative.
Uh-huh.
I worked so hard on this, and he's just coming in here with negativity.
Yep.
He's coming in my little positive bubble with his negativity, is
And
what I got triggered
criticism.
to.
He
And
was
criticism, yeah.
criticizing, judging, questioning you instead of
Mhm.
acknowledging you, being appreciative and thankful for your efforts.
Right, right.
And you got triggered to high heaven,
Correct.
which, okay, so I just want to highlight this keeps happening in relationships across the board, friendships, partnerships, work partnerships, right? Marriages,
Mhm,
dating, these keep escalating over and over. We suck it up. We don't talk about it. We think it's trivial. It's just mushrooms and
mhm,
onions, especially like, forget about it. It's not a big deal. No, it keeps escalating over time, over weeks, over months, over years. And finally someone says, pass the salt, and the other person says, I want a divorce.
mhm.
And you're like, what just happened? Well, I'm telling you
Right.
what's just happened. This exact situation, right? And it
Mhm,
goes from putting the toothpaste cap on the toothpaste, and it's right. Did you take the dog? Where are the poopy bags? How come I told you to put the
mhm.
poopy bags in the leash so I have it when I like over and over again? Yes, Christina, and you were
Right.
reactive. And
Mhm.
if it had gone on, yes, and it was going on because then the next incident happened. Remember, we had a
Right.
series for because you do, which is brilliant for both of you, and I'm honored to be the coach that coaches you as a married couple. I
Mhm.
love the couples coaching, right?
Mhm.
Because you get to renew your vows in a way over and
Right,
over again,
right,
which is so beautiful.
right.
But do you see this? Then there was the next thing on the list and the next thing on the list. Do you see how you
Mhm.
two were reacting, and it was escalating,
Right.
right? To now where I keep saying it's never about what's happening on the surface. It's really the two of you aren't sharing your biggest fears and emotions and setting
Mhm.
boundaries. Yes.
Mhm.
And now that's really
Mhm.
starting to happen. Yes.
Right, right.
Mm-hmm.
And now I have a voice in my head that says Karen's voice saying, "It's never about the pickles, onions, and mushrooms." So
I love it.
the next time he does something and I get triggered, I hear that it's not about the pickles, onions, or mushrooms. So what is really going on inside of me that has
Mm.
me upset right now? Because it's
Yes.
not the pickles, onions, mushrooms.
Yes, exactly. And I'm getting chills right now because when we dig deep and we go, wait a minute, I'm overriding my feelings and emotions. I need to express these in a constructive way. Yes,
Mhm.
in a
Mhm.
progressive way. Then all of a sudden, we feel reconnected to that human.
Mhm.
And that's what
Mhm.
happens because I have to go over this. When we have that dissension, when we're not communicating and not hearing and seeing each other, we're triggered in our own little world into our own little wounds way back in
Mhm.
childhood and teenhood. All is
Mhm.
lost. We are out. We are delusional. We have lost all common sense. Yes.
Right, right.
And so what happens, it creates an energy of dislike and hate.
Mhm.
We don't have that energy of cohesiveness and alignment of feeling good and connected to the very person we're
Mhm.
married to. Yeah.
Right, right.
And so no communication, no sense or energy of love. The deeper
Right.
communication, the deeper the energy of love.
Mhm.
Yes.
Correct.
Uh-huh. And that's really important to remember. And the same thing's happening with the kids, your mom, and even the checker at the grocery store. Yes?
Mhm. Mhm.
It happens everywhere. And so this is amazing to hear and how much it is. really exponentially catapulted your relationship, your marriage. Yes. And
Right.
it's always a work in progress. But again, one stop
Mhm.
shop. So it's happening in all areas of your life, your mom, your kids, right? Husband.
Correct.
Uh huh. And you probably can see it around with friends, sibling, like it's happening. Oh, your dad,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It's happening there as well. Yes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, isn't it, we've come full circle now here, Christina, the very thing that hurt your childhood, yeah, and your
Right.
first marriage is
Right.
everything that you're getting now today,
Correct.
which is no accident. You called it in, you attracted it because you were open and willing to work on yourself and take responsibility. Yes.
Mhm.
You're a seeker, but
Mhm.
you're also like, wait a minute, I got to learn this for the better because I don't want to replay all of
Right.
that again.
Again, yes.
Uh-huh. So experience counts for so much. All right.
Right.
So, let's now just touch on Stassi, the baby, in
Mhm.
that I want to go back because I know this could be helpful for people. Is all of the stuff we've been talking about from your before and after, and sharing what you're getting here, you're really getting a sense of yourself like you've never had before. And then a sense of
Mhm.
self with courage to speak up when you think it's going to make things worse, when in fact it actually makes it way better than you could ever imagine. Right?
Mhm.
They pivot on a
Mhm.
dime, don't they? When you say, wait, this isn't working, it's pushing me away from you, it's not bringing me closer.
Right. Right.
Yes. And so that's happening. But if we go back, how old is Stassi now, the baby? She's already growing so fast. She's going to be
She
2.
is 21 months. Yes, she'll be 2
Okay. So
soon.
that means almost 2 years ago,
Mhm.
we were in coaching
Mhm.
and you had a problem because all of this unconscious stuff that doesn't get out comes into
Mhm.
the body as disease,
Mhm.
dis-ease. Yes.
Yes.
And you
Yes.
were having trouble with her due date. You were way overdue. Let's revisit that.
Yes. So,
Mhm.
I'm very grateful because my pregnancy was very healthy, no complications, was in care and coaching throughout the pregnancy. Um, so just a very healthy pregnancy.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I I'm a big believer in modern medicine and like natural remedies, and I'm like, how can we pair these together? Like I want the best outcome possible. So I had 2 epidurals before, with my older 2 kids, but I did not like the way my second epidural experience went. So with this, which we didn't know Stassi was Stassi because we were waiting to find out if she was a boy or a girl.
Mhm.
So with this 3rd baby though, I was like, I want to give birth at the hospital with my OBGYN, but I really don't want to have an epidural, um, due to my previous experience. So um, we had hired a doula, and as my due date was approaching, I was really not having any signs of labor, but where that was increasing the fear was that I was scared to be induced because I didn't want the epidural, and if potentially the induction can be more painful because they're using synthetic medicine. So unless it was like medically necessary, I really wanted to go into labor on my own to help my chances of delivering without an epidural.
Okay, hang on.
Does that
Wait a
make sense?
minute. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So let's
Mhm.
recap.
Mhm.
So this time, after having 2 epidurals, you're like, you wanted to do it holistically, no epidural,
Mhm.
right? And then
Mhm.
you were late. So now they're
Yes.
telling
Yes.
you, oh, you're late. We need to induce labor.
Yes. So my
And you were like,
doctor
no, I don't want
My
that.
well,
Yeah.
my doctor said, and I do love my doctor. She said, "Hey, I'm okay with you going till I think it was like a little shy of 2 weeks late, But if by that point you haven't, for the safety of the baby, like, it'll be time to for me to induce. And I'm all for putting, the baby's safety first. So I started to sweat though, because, I see this end date is getting closer and closer and closer. And for whatever reason, I haven't gone into labor. Um,
Mhm.
so then I start to stress myself out and put all this, like, um, worry, into my body. Um, because again, I'm really hoping I can complete this labor without an epidural, due to my negative experience the second time. So, it's also right around the holidays. So Christmas is in there, and I'm just a emotional mess. I'm a week or almost a week past my due date, um, and
Well, and
I'm starting to sweat.
yes, but we were not on a regular coaching basis back
Schedule,
then.
yes,
Yes.
yes. It was, like, I
So,
think once a month. Like, I think I was
oh my
only
gosh.
maybe once
Yes.
a month.
Yeah. So I didn't really know it was happening till closer to, because
Mhm.
you
Like,
were
you were at game time. Like,
yeah,
we probably
uh-huh.
should have been talking that month, but we really
Yeah, we should have. But
hadn't.
you could,
Um
yeah, because you started to be late, so that tells me you're already in distress unconsciously and
Mhm.
subconsciously because 'cause you're late. Yes? Even
Mhm.
though this was
Yes.
the best pregnancy, and
Mhm.
I'm just the messenger. I'm gonna give all the credit to this technology, these techniques, because it makes a difference over and over and over again. So,
Mhm.
but you and I weren't talking, you're already late. And immediately when
Mhm.
I found that out, I went, ruh what's going
Mhm.
on? Yes.
Mhm.
Because you hadn't been in
Mhm.
coaching. I hadn't seen too many emails. No one's
Mhm.
oh, and this was the best pregnancy. I knew you'd have the best pregnancy overall because you had already been in coaching, and sure enough, that was the case. Yes.
Mhm.
But then,
Mhm.
okay, let's go down to the wire. So here I am minding
Mhm.
my own business. Do, 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 do. You're having these issues. The one thing I also remember now, you're right. They want to induce. You don't want to. You're starting to panic. And then remember, Cody had the, oh,
Yes.
let's have the baby so I could watch football Friday. Remember that? Oh,
Yes, he said so. I'm like,
okay.
I'm going through, like, a crisis, and Cody's
Yes.
like, "I hope the baby's not born on Friday because there's a football game," and that was then I'm crying in a restaurant the day after Christmas because
Wait, you're
I'm just
fading
like,
out. I'm losing you.
"Oh,
You just turned.
oh,
Wait, come back. Say that
can you hear me
again.
okay?"
Yeah, now there
Sorry.
you are. Yeah. So say it again. He talks
Here
about
I
the
am.
football. Yeah, you were
Yeah,
crying. Say yeah, tell us the story.
I'm like, my husband's over here like doing or worried about holiday football, and he's like makes some comment like, "Well, I hope the baby's not born on Friday or whatever day it was because this football game's on." And oh my gosh, I about lost my mind.
Yep.
I
Trigger.
that was
Trigger.
it.
Uh-huh.
Triggered, crying at a restaurant. I'm what now I'm like 40 weeks, 5 days pregnant. Like, I'm way past my due date.
Uh-huh.
Um and Cody, God bless him, he goes, "I have a Karen call tomorrow. Would you like to take my call?" And it was definitely needed. So it's funny now in hindsight,
Yeah,
but
in
it wasn't funny at
hindsight,
the
but it
time.
wasn't funny when you're going through it because how many
Right.
wait, do the math for me. How many
Mhm.
days late were you by this point?
I was 5 days past my due date, I think. Yeah, 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 5 days because Christmas, yeah, I was 5 days past my due date.
Okay.
Um, and
Yeah.
by this point, my oldest was also a week late, but that's pretty standard with my first. But my second had come 3 days early, so I did not expect. I shouldn't have had expectations, but I did not expect to still be pregnant this far past my due date. So, and I had,
Right.
worked it up in my head, my little tiny newborn on Christmas, and that had come and gone.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so wait, with the first one,
Mhm.
she was late, but did they induce labor that first pregnancy?
They did, they did.
Aha.
They
So,
induced me
okay,
a week late. Mhm.
exactly. So you've been through that because
Mhm.
that's what they do. Now, I'm going to tell
Mhm.
you, I already know the first baby, you were under enormous mental and emotional
Yes.
distress, and that
Yes.
was a cause of you being late. Cut to this
Mhm.
time. What
Mhm.
was it that Cody, what was a tip off that Cody said, take my session? Do you remember?
I think it was me crying in the restaurant after, um, I it was Christmas Eve, Christmas Day had come by, and then the next day, him and I were in a restaurant, and I was just, like, crying, like, "I can't believe I'm not in labor," just I mean, a
Oh,
blubbering
wow.
mess because I was
Yeah,
just
you were
scared. I
losing
mean,
it.
I was just
Yeah.
scared, yeah, and
Mhm.
I guess I was so triggered, I couldn't even say, like, I'm scared. It's just all
You were
coming
just
out as,
crying.
like yeah, crying.
Okay, so
Bless
then he
me.
noticed. Yes. Oh, sorry, what was that you just said?
I said, "Bless me." I
Yeah.
was just a mess.
Yes, yes, yes,
Oh, and
exactly.
I forgot, I had seen the that was my last doctor's appointment day because it was like, "Hey, so, if you don't have the baby by this day, I'll just see you at labor and delivery." So that I think that probably added a component to
Oh, it
it as
did.
well. Just seeing my doctor for the last time, before, the baby's gonna be born.
So that happened,
Mhm.
uh, before you were crying?
Yes,
Before.
yes, my appointment was that
Uh-huh.
morning, and then that night we had gone out. I think the older kids had some, like, activity, so we're like, "Well, we'll just go out, the 2 of us," and so it was just Cody and I.
Right, and then where was Cody's comment about the football? Which one do you think was really it that set you off?
Oh gosh. I know that that football comment had happened before the mess. I think it was just, like, all the pressure
Oh,
was, like,
yeah.
all
Okay, it was
coming
a
to a
doctor's
head.
appointment. It was that doctor's
Yeah.
appointment saying, "Okay,
Oh,
how many days did we have?" What
yes,
did she
I
say?
remember,
Okay, you're wait, come back to the microphone.
they had monitored me.
Yes.
Just they were like, "Let's just do a stress test, make sure baby's good." And the doctor was like, "Okay, great news is baby's heart rate, everything is good." She was like, "The only downside is you did not have one contraction the entire time I was monitoring you. So, that's
Uh-huh.
okay." But, like, she's like, "You're not even having, like, early signs of labor yet." Or not even, like, like the
Yeah,
practice
like nothing.
contractions,
Yep,
nothing. And so I
nothing.
think I think that is what had kinda got me.
Yep,
And
that was
then,
it.
of course, my doula, bringing the more holistic side, is like, "Just relax, everything's gonna be fine. Take a deep breath." And I'm like, "I don't know how to relax right now." Which she was wonderful too, but,
But it didn't work.
just very lost. Right,
Yeah,
I
but
was
it
just
didn't work.
very
So
lost in
your
that
Hail
moment.
Mary was the session with me. The Hail
Yes,
Mary was there. Thank
yes.
God, Cody.
Good job, Cody. Good
Code
job, Cody. That
man showing
that
up.
totally counteracts the football comment. I'll let that
Oh my god, I know, because when I read that, I was like, "Oh my god, you gotta be kidding," with the football thing. I said, "Oh boy."
Yeah.
Okay, so I have no idea this is happening. We switch out at the
Mhm.
last minute.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go through
Mhm.
that. So,
Yes.
you show up for your session. What did I say? Do you remember? I mean, in
Um,
terms of
well,
when you told me everything
we
that's going on. Mhm,
I believe the topics conversation was about, um, my control because I was a control freak.
mhm.
Um, and so we were talking about how, like, I've got to let go because I really I can't control it.
Mhm.
So I think we just kinda talked about, like, where maybe the control issue came from, but then we
Mhm.
also talked about how, like, um, I had to let go that even if I ended up induced, that, like, I just had to trust that everything was gonna work out great and the way it was supposed to, and then we worked through that, like, um where does this
Okay.
control issue, like, play into your inner childhood?
Yeah, I remember. So
Mhm,
what was happening is you definitely your control issues, right?
mhm,
Which is really just a symptom of extreme fear,
mhm,
right? Extreme and self-doubt. So
mhm,
it's a cycle of self-sabotage. So that was starting in. And again, it was
mhm,
already happening to be late. Um
mhm,
and you didn't realize it, and I would have seen it. So I also know your brain was bringing you back to the first baby, the first
Mhm.
lateness, the first, right,
Mhm.
epidural, the induction of labor. All of
Mhm.
that was threading through, and you were beside yourself and had no idea. It
Right, right, because I did have
Mhm.
the first baby I had induced epidural. It was fine, but it was a lot harder process for me and my body. And then my second um, came very quick. She came early. The only negative was the epidural experience. So if I had to pick, though, I was picking the what happened the second time. I was not wanting to go through the first experience again, just because it
Exactly.
was harder.
Right, on
So,
top of all of the wounds and triggering from
mhm,
childhood and especially teenagehood, and that's what was really messing you up. So I
mhm,
knew the moment you had the session and you told me everything was what was going
mhm,
on, I said to you what? I said, "Oh, no problem. We got this. It's all of this
mhm,
past stuff. Let's clear it out, and you're probably
mhm,
going to have the baby sometime today."
mhm,
Do you remember that?
mhm. Yes, yes.
Uh-huh. And so
So,
yep.
yeah,
So
we had that call
mhm,
Wednesday morning. So, Tuesday morning, no signs of labor. Wednesday morning, you and I have our call.
mhm,
Um, and I remember when we finished the call, like I felt like I could breathe.
mhm,
Like I didn't feel like a blubbering mess anymore. I felt like I could
mhm,
breathe. And
mhm,
I when you and I got off the call, I went and had a prenatal massage and I came home with the older girls and we watched like a movie and I just remember like having like a very like light and bright day.
mhm.
Um and then that evening, I remember being like, "Oh, I think I'm having some contractions," like later Wednesday evening. Um, but I remember I was like,
Uh-huh.
"You know what? I'm not even timing these because I am not getting myself worked up again. Like I'm not doing it. I'm not timing it." So
Mhm,
the girls and I cooked dinner. We went to the grocery store. Like I just went about my life. And right before I went to bed Wednesday, I went out to Cody's office and I was like, "Hey, I think I'm having some contractions, but I'm just going to try to go to sleep." Um, and I think about 1 a.m.
mhm,
Thursday, I woke
mhm.
up um, and I felt sick to my stomach. And I got up and I was like, "Oh, I'm having contractions about every 3 minutes." And that was about 1 a.m. And then we hung around the house and by 4 a.m. I was like, "Yeah, we should probably go to the hospital." Because I'm still
Yeah.
having contractions. And then got to the hospital. I was 5 centimeters dilated. Um, they got me back to my labor room. I told them I didn't want an epidural, and they were very supportive. And um, the doula met us, and I got in a shower, and I pretty much labored in the shower for the majority of the time. And about, I think it was about, oh gosh, let's see, about 3 hours at the hospital around
Mhm.
that. And um, they the I told the doula like I'm feeling a lot of pain and pressure, and she sees this all the time. She's like, "Yeah, why don't you like hop on out of the shower and we'll just get you dried off." And they got me dried off, and they took me. I laid back down in the bed, and they were like, "Oh, you're 9 centimeters. The doctor's on her way. Um, you're doing great." And it was funny. The next thing I know, I told Cody, I said, "I feel like the baby's coming." And I felt my water break. And it wasn't
Wow.
it wasn't 2 minutes later,
Uh-huh.
she just came sliding on out. In
Yep.
fact, there wasn't even a doctor there. The nurse is
Oh,
the one
wow.
the
Yep.
nurse is the one that delivered her, and the doula was there. And I mean, within a minute, the room was full of nurses and doctors. But and we didn't know she was a girl, so she came out and they were like, "Oh, look, it's a girl." And I mean, it was I could have not asked for a better smoother labor. And
Yeah.
it's kind of funny because in hindsight, I had been scared of something called the Ring of Fire when the baby's coming out, and I had
Mm.
been scared of that for like, okay, that is going to be like in my brain, like that is going to be the worst part of labor. Like I'm scared, and the actual part of her coming out, I got lucky because that was
No, she just
just
shot right out.
yeah, it was like I was like, oh, I can't believe I spent like so much time being worried about that moment, and it didn't even happen. So it was a good lesson. I mean, it was a beautiful labor.
Yeah.
So
So, and and you didn't tell me that part where she just came right out, like boom, like,
yes,
and the doctor wasn't even there yet. So this is a
mm-mm,
testament to the unconscious work. Yes.
mm-hmm,
Of
yes, yes,
when we clear all that out, life could be just this beautiful.
mm-hmm,
Yes.
mm-hmm. Yeah, it was awesome. It was amazing. I could talk
Amazing.
about it for 3 hours.
I know, I know. And we're almost just about done, but I did want to leave us on this note because it's amazing how it you we I remember that session so well. We worked on every little trigger that was coming up for you that opened it
Mm-hmm,
up. You were calm as a cucumber, as they say.
mm-hmm,
And then it just took that so the fear dissipated.
mm-hmm,
You were back to feeling empowered, calm, tranquil, trusting. You had the faith, yes,
mm-hmm,
and your body started to respond. So now
mm-hmm.
you're at home, and then there were 0 contractions before our
Yeah.
session.
Yes.
0. Yeah.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
cut to, because I remember said it, because I knew there was something in your session. I felt it because I'm very
Mhm.
empathic and have a sixth sense and highly intuitive. And I just
Mhm.
knew, oh, we got to everything. That baby's gonna be here.
Mhm. And
You know,
24 hours later, she was
boom.
here. Yep.
Exactly. Almost to the T, 24 hours.
Yes, yes, because our session was in the morning and she was born that like before 8 a.m. that morning.
Yeah, and
So
you know what? I actually said, "Okay, be prepared. You're probably gonna go into labor." I thought it would, to
mhm.
be honest, I thought it was gonna be sooner. I could feel it, right?
Uh-huh.
I was almost
Uh-huh.
surprised it took 24 hours.
They they say your evening hormones like really put people into labor. I guess you're more relaxed at night because your cortisol's low. So I
Eh,
guess,
I don't
the
buy it.
sun coming
Mm-mm.
down.
I think it's because we cleared out all your trauma, period.
Uh-huh.
Because
Mhm.
nothing else, you were going to the doctor, you're doing the doula, they're doing the massage,
Mhm.
it wasn't working. But I know
Right,
this, it's not
right.
just your pregnancy and the baby, it's
Mhm.
every disease that comes into the body is caused by the
Mhm.
unconscious resistance and
Mhm.
fear. That's what I really believe. And I
Mhm.
just love this story so much
Yes,
because
yes.
I just remember going, "Oh, the baby's on its way. Thank God Cody was smart and, you know, sacrificed his session and I can't wait, you know." And there it was, but I love that you just told me that part of you moved to the bed, but the baby just shot out.
Mhm.
No ring of
Mhm.
fire, no nothing. You
Mm-mm.
didn't need an epidural at all.
Nope.
But it
No
also
pain med
helped that you had 2 kids before, so we know that. But
for sure, for sure.
But to shoot
Um,
out before the doctor, because the doctor even knew, "Oh, the baby's not coming," but she showed up before the doctor got there because
yes,
it was like, boom, right?
yes, they had a I think they had called my doctor in, so she had been driving from her house,
Yeah, yeah,
and,
but she
it
probably
was
figured she
funny.
had time.
It was funny, the
Yeah.
hospitalist is the doctor just on call is after the baby was born, he came in there, and then a few minutes later, my doctor came in, and she was like, "I'm sorry I missed it, but did
Uh-huh.
we have a boy or a
I
girl?"
know,
So, it
exactly.
was
I'm sure she was surprised, but
uh-huh.
this is a metaphor for how life could be
Mhm.
if we just stay free and clear of the unconscious, subconscious wounds and fears and turmoil and
Mhm.
trauma. Yes?
Yeah.
And so how beautiful, right? And
Mhm.
that, you know, again, because I know there are many people out there suffering with physical disease, dis-ease,
Mhm.
the unconsciously, subconsciously, and consciously. Yes. And so, um, can you see, looking back, can you see how your mindset, where you were mentally and emotionally at this point? Do you see any dot connects there as we're wrapping up this podcast?
Um, are like
Like in terms
specifically
of, yeah, like our
in
session, then as things played out, you sounded calm. In retrospect, you remember
well, a lot
thinking,
of the time,
yeah.
not just specifically in regards to the labor, but like I usually don't have like the physical words that I can like express it, but there's like this feeling of relief,
Mhm.
like a deep sigh almost after, I would say after most sessions. So in the pregnancy one, it was just like this like relief of letting go of
Uh-huh.
it's all going to work out okay. But I feel like even recently in some of our sessions, like we'll have these conversations and then there's just this big light bulb and it's like, oh, this all makes sense. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is it. I got it now.
Uh-huh. And
And
then the
then there's
body has,
another.
yes, and there's another and another, and then the body has time to respond. So I have to factor that in
Mhm.
next time. Your body had to like catch up with your calmness, you know?
Yes.
It had to
And I
disengage, yeah, from the
I feel
fear.
like for me specifically that my brain seems to get it maybe first and then the body has to catch up.
Absolutely. That's how that
Like
works.
sometimes I'll write you and be like, "Hey, like mentally after our session, mentally I'm super clear. Notice some physical sensations of anxiety." And it's just
Mhm.
kind of like it has to finish running its course. So,
Yes.
same with the labor.
Mhm.
Mentally in the morning, got it. Body just needed all day to be like, "Oh, okay, we really do have it. We're good."
Yeah. And sure enough, the proof's in the pudding, right?
Mhm.
And but I just like what's coming back for me is I remember after, like, during your session, but especially after, I said, "Oh, this is great. That baby's like gonna get here,
Mhm.
lickety
Mhm.
split, like
And
anytime."
she
I
did.
said
It
it to
was
you. I know.
I mean,
Yep.
I don't even think the whole labor was 6 hours, Like, it was
Wow.
just very
Wow.
quick, and the final stage of labor was less than 5 minutes because
She
I was
slid
9
right out of there.
centimeters, and yeah, I was 9 centimeters, my water broke, and she was out. So she came out
Yes.
with the water
Yeah,
practically.
exactly. So you didn't even have to push, push, push where they see the head and then she just like went whoosh. Yep.
Yes, I mean, it was
Wow.
literally I told the doula I felt a
Wow.
lot of pressure. She dried me
Mhm.
off. I told Cody I don't even like really I guess the adrenaline. I don't even really remember him and the doula. Like I was like, "How did I get to the bed?" And he was like, "You just walked to the bed." And I'm like, "There's no like memory of that." Like I
Yeah.
just and I lay down. The nurse checked me and said, "You're 9 centimeters, but your water's still intact. I'm going to start getting the room ready for delivery. Your doctor's on the way. She's coming from her house, though." And then I'm talking within a second of that conversation, I felt my water pop
Yep.
and I
I
said,
love
"I think
that.
my water just broke." And then I said, "And I'm pretty sure the baby's coming and I can't do anything about it." Like, I can't
Oh
do
my
anything
god.
about it.
That is so
Baby's coming.
amazing.
And
That is
then,
unbelievable.
next thing you
Mhm.
know, her head's out. And then I had to push just, I mean, a little
Little
bit to just get
tiny
the
bit.
rest of her body out.
Yeah.
And I
Okay.
mean, it was lickety split.
Yeah.
when, yeah.
It's
So,
almost like, again, it's a metaphor for the light bulb, make the
hmm
connection, all of a sudden, boom. And then
hmm
there's the miracle, right?
right,
There's the
right.
miracle. So, on that note, thank you so much for this first solo podcast with you. It's been a long time coming, but I've been super
Yeah.
busy with my whole life.
Yes.
So thank you. You did an amazing job here and had so many incredible things to share. And I feel very helpful for any listeners, but helpful for us. Yes. Even if no one hears this podcast, it just brings me back to the elation of that session. I just remembered
Yeah.
it. Yeah. And yes. So Any last words in regards to inspiring others into being seekers? Or, you know, do you have any words you'd want to share?
Um, I mean, I guess I would just encourage them to follow that feeling,
Mhm.
because you never know where it'll lead. I didn't know where, after, like I said, my first divorce, like, I didn't really know what I was seeking, but I just knew that there were something else out there for me to learn and understand. And so for me, that started with therapy and a book. And I just always kept telling myself that there was no such things as coincidences, that um, those little signs were little winks from the universe that things were going to work out. And I just believed that. And then here I am.
Yeah, and I just thinking, you know what? Unconsciously, you attracted a new relationship husband that
Hmm.
one of his biggest thing is self-development.
Right,
Is like
right.
one of his hugest, most biggest priorities in life and principles and values is
Hmm.
self-development. Self-development,
Hmm.
yeah. And look, you
Right.
got more than you could bargain for.
Right. And obviously when we first started dating, it's not like he would have that's not even something he would have said, "Oh, my biggest priority is
No,
self-development." It
no.
all just worked out.
Yeah,
So,
he was just starting. He had
uh-huh.
started in the group and then he went to private and then but
Mhm.
it was, you know what? When it started to click, I do believe there's a correlation to when he met you and attracted
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
was closer to him really getting like, "Oh, wow, this could make a difference for me." That's what I
Right.
saw. And then we
Right.
went on from there, but I just love how not only you so didn't get it with the first husband and
Mhm.
now it you got exactly opposite of someone
Right.
so committed
Mhm.
to inner self and helping outer self and partnership and love and marriage relationships. So,
Right.
congratulations.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here with me, and we'll have you on again. And it was so fun to reminisce. And thank you for helping to help others, in their journey of self development and consciousness evolution. So, thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
you're welcome. All right, we'll talk to you again soon. And I really want to just say the last thing to anyone who is listening is that we have so much miraculous brilliant power between our ears that the mind is and the human brain is so supersonically powerful and magical that to understand and evolve your consciousness, yes, consciousness evolution, you are able to really create your life on your terms with the most amount of happiness and freedom and fulfillment. It's worth it. Yes, it's an investment, but the prizes, rewards on the other side are priceless. So I all leave you with continue to evolve consciousness, and I'm wishing everyone the magic in their lives, in themselves that they deserve. So thank you so much.